So good evening, everyone, and thanks for being here, all of you. Yeah, requesting each one of you to just go on mute as and when. Yeah, don't open it unless you need to talk or I suggest you to talk. Please don't open it. Yeah, it's going to cause a lot of inconvenience to everyone. So that's a request. Okay, great. So thanks a lot, everyone, for being here. Yeah, so it's like a great pleasure talking to all of you. So a very good evening. And we have more and more people to join in as and when they come in. We will and have them admitted. So now, friends, if there is any kind of questions that you want to ask, please keep putting it on the chat. I'll keep looking at the chat, and as and when the time comes in, I'll talk. I will answer those questions. But in the end, last 10 minutes, you definitely, all of you are going to get an opportunity to share, talk, and all that. Yeah, and as and when we do an exercise, I will might ask you to share. So please go ahead and share. So that is what we're going to do. Okay. So great. So I am Dr. Rajiv Naidu, and I'm a homeopathic doctor by profession. Yep. And I've been practicing for the last 25 years in Lokhandwala, near Lokhandwala, Andheri. And I am also a therapist, yeah, a new life educator, an integrative wellness therapist, and a relationship wellness facilitator. Yeah, that's my forte. Diseases, healing diseases, helping people learn how to heal diseases very quickly and very effectively. So this is something that I've been doing for a long time. Also have completed my counseling and health psychology, and that is what I use. I integrate all this work to uh, bring about a quick, effective shift in people, which is very long lasting. Yeah. So if at all there are some people who would like to share at a later point when I ask them to, please, I would want you to share. Yep. So I will be putting on the PowerPoint. Yep. And we know the topic of today. The topic of today is beating anxiety. Where is the topic? Okay. Okay. So I'm quite sure each one of you is able to see this. Yes, no? Are you able to see this my screen, New Life? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Please go on. Thank you. So, Dr. Rajiv's New Life Integrative Wellness Institute, and this is why I call myself a New Life educator, because my intention is that people shift and not just have healing of their diseases, but they actually shift into a new way of looking at life and have a new perspective. And till now, I've been quite successful doing that. I do it with more and more people, and I keep getting a lot of responses from people that how they have been able to step into a new zone, a new way of looking at life. Yeah. So really, thanks to you, each one of you, for being here. Yep. And taking your time. Yeah, so thanks a lot right at the outset. And so this is me sometime back. So now you see me in new avatar. So this was sometime back. And as I said, like I mentioned all this. Joining. So let's move this. So beating the anxiety and depression. So today's topic, we are generally going to talk more of anxiety, because as I started working on it, I realized that anxiety in itself is such a big topic that bringing in depression would not be justice to the topic. And we will have the something on depression at a later point, but today's topic would be more of anxiety. And many of them who suffer from anxiety also suffer from depression. Yeah, so anxiety neurosis with depression, that is what generally the doctors would diagnose it as. So that's why I took the topic together, but it's okay. Even with this, you will be able to manage some of your depressive symptoms, but then we are focusing more on anxiety. So what we are going to do over here, friends, is basically understand what is anxiety, some of the causes, and if you have to read more some symptoms, we'll just quickly go. The intention over here would be to focus on basically how do you deal with anxiety. And this next 65, 70 minutes, we are just going to focus on that. So my intention is to give more of how do we deal with it. Yeah, and I have been very successful in having that done with my clients, and my clients have been working with this and been out of anxiety and depression for longest period. I have been having lots of clients suffering from anxiety. Now, as we know, wherever you are in the world, many of us suffer from anxiety and depression. I'm quite sure you'll all agree to this. It's like, and if at all there's a family history or someone has anxiety or depression, there are possibilities that the other people in the family or their generation to come, they also have the children or their grandchildren, they also suffer from it easily. Yeah. So this is what has been seen. But how do we deal with that? And though there are people who are continuing to take medicines for a longest period, what I have found is that you don't need to take the medicines for a long time. You can get rid of medicines, and or you can just stay away from medicines. Not saying that they are bad or wrong, but definitely we all know that they have their own side effects. Yeah, and being in this field with holistic medicine right from the outset, like being a homeopath, that is also a holistic form of healing or a scientific holistic medicine. So I've seen that it's easy to deal with all this, and there are people who have been out of this and not taking medicine for more than 10 years, 15 years. Those who have taken medicines for 15 years, 20 years, taking even 10 tablets a day, and definitely there are so many side effects. And that is, you may not have a problem with the disease, but you may end up having more problems with the side effects. Like one of the doctors himself was a MD doctor, he puts that it is not side effects, they are called direct effect of the medicines, because they don't produce side effects. But then it has been sidelined putting side effects, and we call it side effects. No, they are direct effects of the medicines, yeah, of the chemicals. So we got to be careful. But there, if at all you have to be careful, I always have this in mind that if you're saying that this can't be done, then what can be done? So let's come with a solution that can be, we are able to deal with this. Okay, so beating the anxiety and depression. So is anxiety abnormal? So first of all, we got to understand, though we make it anxiety as abnormal, anxiety, like fear, like what is fear? Fear is nothing else but when there is a threat, a real threat, you have certain experiences in your body, you get palpitation or whatever, like you see a dog barking at you, or you caught up for something wrong, or you have to, and you start feeling some kind of symptoms. Yeah, that can be fear. Yeah, there's a threat. But when the threat is over, the fear also can go off. But what happens with anxiety? Remember one thing, anxiety in itself is a normal thing, and it's a healthy emotion like fear, anger, sadness, guilt. They are not bad emotions. But if at all it's going beyond a particular point, like any other thing, then it can lead to problems. And that is what it becomes a medical disorder. Like it reaches a level where it is disproportionate to what is happening outside, and you're already contemplating, thinking about it as if it's going to happen. Then it becomes anxiety. It is not there, but I worry it may happen. Like my child is gone out. Oh, something is going to go wrong. Oh, I may suffer from a disease. Oh, what if I'm going to go for an interview? And what if I'm not able to talk? Oh, what if I stand in front of this group or my colleagues and I am not able to present well? And then the symptoms start: palpitation, sweating, I become stiff, tight. Now that is anxiety. But if there is a threat, it becomes real. So it is a form of fear. Yeah. So we'll just quickly touch upon it. And I'm quite sure some of you, definitely who are attending, have some may be having symptoms of anxiety or whatever. And this is what it is. as I just spoke about it, it's anticipatory, it destabilizes the individual. It's excessive or pathological when it rises in the absence of challenge. That is the good word. Or stress means there's no challenge, but you imagine it. That's why it's imaginary, and then it starts the symptoms. Yeah, and then there is distress, and it results in psychological, social, occupational, biological, and other impairment. Remember, any kind of disease, when it starts affecting you personally, and when it starts producing it starts affecting your family or your personal functioning or your performance, then it is a disorder. Otherwise, most of the things, we definitely feel low, we definitely get angry, we definitely have fear, we definitely feel guilt. But to a particular point, all of them are very, very helpful emotions. But if it's going beyond a particular point where instead of you being in control of it, it is controlling you and your life, then get that it has become a disorder, a medical disorder. You need support, you need help. Yeah. So now let's talk about the types very quickly, going through it. Generally, what we talk about the types of anxiety disorder, the GAD, the general anxiety disorder. The general anxiety disorder. Yeah, this is like the widespread thing. Yeah, and you can start feeling it in your, as in a bodily experience. It shows up in your behavior, and psychologically also it can affect you. Panic disorders, where you actually have panic. Yeah? And then specific phobia like agoraphobia, like claustrophobia. So wherever you start feeling that, that is a specific phobia. Or social phobia, when you have to stand in front of a crowd and you have to talk, and suddenly, or you have to go in a mall. Like I had someone who came to me like that. He couldn't enter a mall. He couldn't get into a metro when the metros were on this. I'm talking about some 6 years back or 7 years back. He had come to me. So, and then separation anxiety disorder. So there are a variety of types. Earlier it was different OCDs and everything. Now they have created this kind of types of anxiety disorders. Yeah. And but I, in my therapeutic approach or in my clinic, I also start to segregate it in different manner, which is very helpful, and it's like easy to understand. And we got to work on those areas. Yeah. So just so these are symptoms, but we are also looking at, yeah, this. Okay. So some of this which are causes are the stressful life events. When you're faced with events, or you have relationship problems, or you have certain problems at work, then it can cause stress, and that can cause anxiety. A lot of people I have from coming from corporates, and they go through severe anxiety, and that's only because of the workplace anxiety. Or one of the most important things is lack of sleep. I cannot emphasize more than this, that how lack of sleep can really, really impact you psychologically, biologically, and all the your relationships, your health, and you may not realize, but it can actually put you in that space. So you got to be really careful about that. And given the kind of the social media and the kind of technology that we have, and Wi-Fi being free and easily available, people actually are putting themselves in danger, and putting them into means they are slowly and steadily they are moving towards bad health. And not only that, they are also pushing their own children towards bad health, horrible health, in the name of luxury, in the name of it's okay, in the name of, oh, they are still with their children, with other kids, and all the children are awake. But yet that the body experiences stress and anxiety if you're not sleeping at night very well. Then you have childhood adversity. This is very, very important. So when we are doing inner child work, most of the problems are coming from there. Childhood adversity, parental neglect, worry, abuse. I have every client of mine where I work with their childhood issues, parental issues. Yeah, and at no point in time I'm saying that parents are the problems. No, but children, they see them as problems, and then they grow up, or they have, oh, my parents were fighting, my parents separated, and my parents never got along well. Then they get into marriages, they experience stress, they blame their parents, they blame the partner, but somehow they have not been able to deal with it. But most of the problems that you're suffering from now, if you really understand, you will actually go back to your childhood, go back to the time when you were born, and even your mother's womb, when you were in your mother's womb. That's why it becomes very unconscious. And that is what we are going to talk about also, that we just don't need, why the medicines have to be taken for such a long time or for all the time in your life. Any medicine, that is because the medicines are not touching the root cause of the problem. And if you are able to touch the root cause of the problem and clear it up, it is like you have a leak in the house. You just tape that area or you cement that area, the leak is going to be there. But if you open up the wall and get the pipe, change the pipe, put it properly, and put all that whatever is required, then there will be no leak. What happens with medicine is that you're just many a times you're just taping it on top, or you're just putting some cement on top, but you're not working on the leak per se. I'm going to talk about those two things, what we are working upon and what we are not working upon, because of which most of the diseases are not being handled or have been dealt with properly. That is what we are going to talk about over here. So now, we have to actually work upon all those things if you want to have good healing happening for the longest period. And you are in charge of yourself and life. Attachment styles, the way you have had a relationship with your parents, especially your mother when you are born and after that, that is called attachment styles. And if at all you have an insecure attachment, then there's a possibility that you may go into major amount of people go into anxiety and depression. It's easy. Yeah. And learning mechanisms after a bad experience, some kind of a dog bit me. Okay. One more learning mechanism is when we are looking at our own people who are anxious, like your auntie, uncle, mother, father, there is a large possibility you can also go through it. Yeah. Cognition. This is about how you perceive things. Like many of them, they perceive things as uh, catastrophic than what it is. Oh, it's raining. Oh God, if it's going to flood, what will happen? Oh, my children are gone. Oh God, what will happen if they don't come back home? Oh, just in case she's gone alone. Oh, just, and all those things that they worry about. Or if I don't reach on time, what will my boss say? Oh, what if there's a salary cut? What if I don't have the job? What if I'm laid off? I can understand that they are real problems. But many of us are catastrophizing that problem. Yeah, it's like bigger than what it is. You're making it much more bigger, and anything that is bigger than you will overwhelm you. If you can make it smaller than you, then you can actually manage it, because there is no real problem out there. It's an imagined thing. Biology, of course, chemistry, brain chemistry, hormones, hereditary, and withdrawals. Lot of people, kids are seen who have gone through withdrawal, substance abuse, when they are withdrawing, smoking, anxiety, alcohol. When they are going through withdrawals, there's a lot of anxiety, and that's one of the reasons people are not able to get over their substance abuse. And I work with a lot of them, including people taking brown sugar also, and a lot of people with weed. And I've seen that if their people are having the willingness and they're ready to take responsibility, they can be helped very well. Yeah. Otherwise, they keep going to rehabs and they don't get well. The only reason is that we have to still work upon their responsibility, because they're generally pushed into the rehab rather than they going to the rehab. So I had this, just talking about uh, stressful life events and all that. So I had this person. He was working in one of this MNCs, yeah, and he was one of the best head of the sales department, sales country head, and one of the best of his kind in that company. And he came to me and he was looking so haggard. when he came to me, really haggard. And he said that I haven't slept for a month. I have been only sleeping for an hour, and after that, I don't get sleep. And so much so that my anxiety has gone up to such a level that I cannot get into the metro, I cannot get into malls, I cannot get into crowded restaurants. I started to feel scared. I always need someone around me. And he used to stay alone. So he had a girlfriend at that time and said, I just can't stay without that person. I wait for her to come back or whatever, or meet her because I'm so anxious, so worried, and I keep getting into panic attacks. And I still remember getting into working upon his problems, whatever it is, and then giving him certain exercises to do. One or two exercises. I've also put it on the YouTube. I'm going to give you the link. If you're interested, you can always look at it. And this person, within 3 to 4 weeks, when he came back again after the fourth session, he was sitting in front of me, and after while talking, he said, Doctor, I just realized that I took the metro to come to your place, and I didn't even realize that I was getting into the metro. His anxiety, panic attacks were just gone. And post that, he's grown, he's now abroad, he's changed the company, he's grown to a different level altogether. So that is the kind of shift that can happen when we are working with this kind of people. Yeah. And just to add over here, like now there are two pathways of anxiety. So let me give you a story. Yeah, before we go ahead. Yeah. So you are driving a car. Yeah. You are driving a car, and you are driving a car, and you are suddenly you remember midway that I think I have left the gas stove on. I have left the gas stove on. Now the thought starts in your head. Oh, what will happen? There's no one there, and this will go on. And what if something goes wrong? And then the thoughts continue. Okay? And slowly that you start palpitating, and you start getting um, some tightness in the body, stiffness, or you and some sweating on the head. And you are driving at a particular pace, and suddenly the person in front of you applies the brake. Now you're not paying attention to that, you're thinking. And without your knowledge, it's almost instinctively you apply brakes. Now, how did that happen? So here we try to understand this thing. The two pathways of anxiety. Now, if you notice over here, this is the brain. And on top, we have some idea. We all have done biology, or whether you liked it or didn't like it, but it was pushed onto you. It was there till 10th standard. Yeah. So cerebral cortex, the brain. Yeah. This is the thinking brain, which is the latest brain. Okay, the new one. And in below this, if you notice, all the cerebral cortex, what is written? This is what the thinking and the decision and everything is happening over here. And then you have in the middle, where you can see the brown structures, they're called the midbrain or the limbic brain, the emotional brain. And right below is the lower brain. The lower brain is also called the reptilian brain. It is also called the reptilian brain. So reptilian brain, if you notice, reptiles don't think. Like if you go to a snake, it's not thinking, oh, what, like a dog. Okay. It just, if you are stepping on the tail, it will just bite. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you're given milk or not given milk, it will just bite. Because whenever there is danger, either they bite or they run away. Mostly they run away. But if at all it's threatened too much, then they bite. Now that is the first part. That's the only job. They only come from two responses called fight and flight. And the second one, the midbrain, is the emotional brain, the limbic brain, in which we have a small stuff called, part called amygdala. Okay, we have a small part called amygdala, which is like an almond-shaped thing on both sides of the brain. Yeah. So we are going to talk about this. So now let's go back to the story of the stove and the car brakes. So what happened over there when you are overthinking? When you're overthinking about the stove, oh, what will happen? I've kept it on, or something might go wrong. You are using the cortical part of the brain because it's to do with thinking, and that can overthink, thinking that something is really going to go wrong, and it might have an effect on the other parts of the brain. Right? Now, other parts of the brain. Now, the second is the car braking. How did it happen? It happened because of this part, the amygdala. Whenever there's a threat, the brain sees a potential harm to you. Then there is no thinking involved. That's why we call it instinctual. That's why we call it instinctual. And this just takes over and you have no control over it. So these are the two pathways. One is the cortical pathway and one is the amygdala pathway. Both of them go and impact the amygdala, but in one, you're overthinking and then it impacts the amygdala and the body symptom. In the second, the cortex is not involved, there's no thinking and it's just instinctual. Like you're just there and you are you're not even aware, you just see you're watching a movie and suddenly you start palpitating. Or you're watching TV and something goes wrong, or you are walking into a party and everything is going on fine, and suddenly you start feeling breathless, or you're hyperventilating, or your body gets stiff. So now that is a different story. That is where the amygdala is taken over. So this is something that we got to understand and got to work upon. So when I said that we are not going to the core of the problem, we are not removing the pipe to treat the leak, we are just putting some paint, doing a paint job on top, then there is a possibility that the amygdala is involved. There's an instinctual part of the brain that is getting involved, and the brain sees it as a potential harm and goes into an instinctual reaction of protecting you. And then you have all those other symptoms of anxiety. When they are there and you are just trying to work on the cortical part of the brain, upon the thinking, that is what many of the therapists or psychologists do. They give you to write and say, there's nothing wrong. It's very good because we got to work on all. But it will not heal that problem because we are not working on the root cause of the problem. There are memories, there are thoughts, there are feelings that are there in that area, which are getting triggered off when you're watching TV or when you're going to a party. Because when I was a small kid and I walked into a party, everything was going on well and everyone was dancing and everyone was having a good time. And suddenly someone got extremely drunk and had a fight with my father, and my father got hurt. Now everything said and done, everything is fine. You grew up, you're 25, 30, father may be there, may not be there. You are having a good time. You get into a party, and in the party, maybe the same song that was there played 20 years back or 15 years back, that is being played. Or you see someone in the same shirt, or not even CC. You don't even remember. But the mind remembers and it just picks up that cue. And the amygdala says, oh, that's danger. That means fight is going to happen. That means father is going to get it. But you're unconscious of it. I am making up a story, but you're unconscious. You just go into a sense of anxiety or panic. And that is how the amygdala works. So if at all you have to also get to work upon the amygdala, which is a deep work. And that is where therapies come to great help, because if you have gone into therapies and have worked with therapists, like, then you will actually know that they get into your deeper understanding of you. What was your first memory? When did this happen first? And it's not asked, you're maybe in your state of trance or whatever, and then you actually work upon it and heal it. You release that fear factor from there. Like I had someone who was working in the Navy and he came in and he was sitting there and we were talking, and I do something called the core somatic integration. I'm just going to touch upon it in some while, a little bit of it. And that person was sitting with me, and then I said, okay, when did this happen? And suddenly he started, and he started getting palpitation, trembling, because the only way to deal with that is to again re-experience that fear and heal it. This is called the body-oriented therapy, body-oriented integrative therapy, where you are going back to that experience and we are releasing that experience through the body, because the body is holding on to it's, remember, it's a bodily experience. And most of the times what we are doing, or what we are trying to clear it up at the mind level, at the thought level. Yeah, this, it's a bodily, it's a physiological experience. And if it's physiological, you got to heal it at the physiological level, at the body level. And that's why many of us keep suffering, are unable to heal that problem, because you're not getting into the bodily experiences. And that is what I profession I am an expert in. I work with that, the body, and definitely work with the mind and other things, and the cognitive behaviors and all those things. Yeah. But we have to also look into, are we engaging the body into healing? It is now a known factor. A lot of research is being done on this for the last 50 years, and they have said that if the body is not engaged, the body is not taken into consideration to heal, you will not heal completely ever. That's why you take so many medicines for so many diseases, they never get healed, because you're still working on the superficial factors and working on where the disease is actually experienced, and that is in your body. This is what happens, the neocortex, and then the reptilian brain and the limbic brain. So I will just show you something over here which we can understand. This is called Flipping the Lid by Dan Siegel. Very good. When I found this, I was so happy. I'm just going to share this with you. So maybe you all can also do it along with me. Yeah. So a hand is like this. You can do it with me. And then you just put one thumb inside. Yeah, one hand, the thumb of the hand. And then this, cover it up with the fingers. And this is a good explanation to understand. Huh? You're not healing still. So this is the reptilian brain, the lower brain. And then you have this is the midbrain. And this is covered by the cortical brain. So whenever there is an impulse, it goes, but it has the cortical brain to think, so that you respond to what's happening. But whenever there is anxiety, the cortical brain is, this is called flipping the lid. It's opened up. The lid is open. Now there is no thinking involved. And the midbrain is actually controlling the whole thing, the amygdala. Is that clear? So what I understood was, all we got to do is bring the lid back. But when you release all the memories, you are actually bringing the lid back, because now you are not coming from the past. You are coming from the present. Because whenever you are reacting, I gave you the example of that father in the party, that people, someone who's drunk and fights, and the child who's grown up now 25, 30, 40, 50 years, is still reacting whenever there's a party. That's only because he's still stuck in the past. There's a part of him which is stuck in the past. And whenever there's a party or something, the amygdala just goes into an instinctual reaction, as if the same thing is going to happen. But remember, this is not logical. This is not rational. But the amygdala reaction is not rational, not logical, because the rational and everything is done by the cortical part of you, thinking part of you. Are you getting me? बोलते ना, अबे जानवर के जैसा मत behave कर, इंसान बन जा. That insan is nothing else but the thinking part. So this is the जानवर part. This is the insan part. And all we got to do is bring the insan part. But before that, we heal the जानवर part. That is not bad or wrong, but that is the instinctual part which engages in the fight flight response. The fight flight, and the third is the freeze response. Fight, flight, and the freeze response. Are we together? So, and that is what the amygdala does. Whenever there is a threat, it either runs away, or it gets into fight, or it freezes. Yeah. And this is quite happens quite early in life. Yeah. There are fights happening in the family. Mother and father are fighting, or some, and the child is like, I don't know. What if my mother dies? What if my father dies? Or what if I'm thrown out of the house? What if they're not there to feed me? For the child, it's a big threat, survival. Now the child can scream and yell, stop it, stop it. Or the child might go and hide, or the child might just stand there freezing. Now that can continue for life. To get that, we got to heal those areas, not just superficial symptom and take medicines and go to sleep. The more you go to sleep, or the more you distract yourself that I'll watch TV, it is going to impact your life. It's going to impact your relationship. Anxiety is impacting relationships like no man's business. Depression is impacting relationship, marital relationships like no man's business. Sex is not available. Breakdowns are happening, divorces are happening just for these reasons. By the way, research in 2017 says 1 out of 7 people are suffering from anxiety, both men and women. I checked the stats, and the stats are like just very close. 4.2% of this, 4.3% of that. So it is not about like, though it is like it's seen more in the women, but I think it's same for both. Yeah. So we got to really take, and it is easily curable. That is the most important thing. You don't need to suffer for life. You don't need to suffer for life. This is something that we got to really get, and we can heal it. And that's very, very important. It's not about the suffering. It's about the solution. It's about the healing. It's about the clearing. It's about taking charge of your life. That is more important than wondering what is the diagnosis. And most of the medical field, what I have seen, is focused on diagnosing a disease rather than treating a disease, curing a disease. They're more focused on diagnosing a disease. You have 15,000 rupees of this test, 20,000 rupees of that test, 3,000 of this. Keep doing it, keep doing it. But where is the healing? When is the person going to feel that the person is healed and can live a normal life? I'm not saying you should take away that. Diagnosis, that is diagnosis. I tell my clients, I tell my students, I teach. So I tell them, just by getting an X-ray or an MRI, you don't get healed of your tuberculosis. Just by putting the endoscoping and you knowing that you have a hiatus or you have a GERD, okay, you have a reflux, doesn't heal the reflux, because the medicines are still not working at the point where it should work to heal. It is the experiences, the memories that we got to deal with, and we got to deal with the wiring that has happened. In anxiety, there's a wiring, there's a hard wiring that has happened. We got to tweak that wiring now and rewire the brain into calmness and peace, into okayness. And that is how you will get healed, not by just taking medicines. No. Yes, and I'm not saying that medicines are not important. They're very, very important. But I'm saying there is something more that we got to do. Yeah. And we're going to look into it. Whatever we can today. Yeah. I'm not saying that everything will be covered today. Okay. So this is what it is. So this is the anxiety cycle. There's a trigger. Whatever is happening in the environment, it affects your thoughts. And most of the people who are anxious have a lot of negative thoughts. Something is going wrong. Like I have someone who says, oh, what if I speak wrong on the phone? Or what if I say something wrong? Or what if I'm walking on the street and by mistake, मेरा हाथ किसी लड़की को लग गया, and my hand touches a girl, or I'm in a party and I do something wrong, or I make a mistake, or what if I do something very embarrassing? So this, I'm not good enough and all this. And then feelings, it impacts your feelings, emotions, and it creates fear, worry, and anger. And it creates a lot of helplessness also. And then it starts producing bodily symptoms: sweating, fainting, fast heart rate, palpitations, high pulse rate, okay, and something happening in your tummy, tightness in your tummy, stiffness in your body keeps getting stiff, shoulders get stiff, you start feeling cold, and then you either avoid, you withdraw, or you become aggressive. And this is the cycle. And that is why I believe that just working at the thought level, okay, notice your thought, what's happening, okay, change it into positive. But it doesn't work when you are, it's a amygdala based anxiety. It will not work. If it's a cerebral anxiety or a cortical anxiety, which is based on the thinking, where CBT will work very well. But if it's amygdala based, then we got to go deeper into what's happening into the feelings. What is the body trying to say? And that is where core somatic integration, that's the therapy that I teach, comes into, because we are working on the sensations. We are working through the sensations, which is saying we are looking at the subconscious reactions, because the sensations are nothing else but the subconscious reactions. And we are trying to understand it or know where is it coming from at the conscious level. So we are consciously watching. We are consciously watching the subconscious, and let the memories and all come up. And since consciously you're paying attention, then you understand, oh, this is what happened, this is it, and the processing happens. And then you can, that gets healed on its own. Get that. For most of my clients who have gone through this, they say that how is it possible that just some time back we were so bad and problematic, and suddenly now we are able to see completely a new way of looking at life. And not only that, we are able to take charge. We are able to think rationally now, because you're not coming from the past. All those things we are looking at, and even in the worst situations, they are able to, because they have trained themselves, they have rewired their brain. Now, whatever happens, they are consciously able to see what's happening at the unconscious level, and then they are able to tweak it. They are able to change it. And now the subconscious is free of those memories. The memories are there, but those reactions are not there, because it is allowed to process. Whenever a person is suffering, this is coming from Peter Levine's work, yeah, which I follow quite a lot, and I use it. My work is based on his work, also trauma. You are suffering because whatever happened as a traumatic experience has not, it's stored in the subconscious mind, and it has not been allowed to process. And every time there's a reaction, or there's anxiety or a panic attack, or any kind of disease, psychological disorder, and it keeps repeating, the subconscious is trying to express itself, saying that, because there's a disconnection between the conscious and the subconscious, it's trying to express itself and bring it up to the conscious level, so that it can be processed completely, and then the healing can happen. But since whenever it is thrown up, it throws up along with it all those negative feelings: fear, anxiety, worry, tightness of the body, coldness of, as if I'm going to die, all those thoughts and feelings, we push it down again. And that's why we require so much of medicines. And that's one of the reasons people suffer from the same thing and not able to heal it. I hope I am making myself clear. Okay, so someone has asked, how do we heal it? So we are just quickly getting into it. So the 3 steps to clear anxiety and to get in charge again. So I want people to quickly, there's something called witnessing. So before that, let's put this to the end. First, let's complete this. Yeah, there are 5 things to do at least. I'm not saying this is everything. There are 5 things. Prashant, I'll come to you later. There are 5 things to do. Yeah, one is, whenever you feel there is anxiety, you can do it now also. All you got to do is sit up straight or stand up straight. It is like, when do you stand up straight? Because when you are anxious, you're feeling helpless. So when you stand up straight, remember, the body and the mind are connected. They're one system. So it seems as if I've taken charge, I've taken control. All you got to do is stand up straight and take a deep breath, and you feel in charge. So we do that when someone is uh, going for a sports or tournament, or so. You say, okay, spine up, and okay, and straighten up, tighten yourself, okay, okay, and suddenly the person starts thinking differently. So that is what it is. Secondly, stay away from sugar. For people who are very anxious, this is one good suggestion. Stay away from sugar, stay away from coffee. I tell most of my clients, stay away from sugar, stay away from coffee. Yeah, because it triggers off that same reaction. And it's also, it seems that it is making you feel good, but after some time, the secondary action is always making you feel worse. Yeah. And it also triggers off those thoughts and feelings. Yeah, it creates a sense of anxiety, and that can trigger off everything. So many of them, they are more over on sugar, they take more and more of sugar. And sugar in itself, the processed sugar, can cause a lot of symptoms to come up. Thirdly, very important, meet up a counselor, meet up a therapist, or talk to an understanding friend. I am saying, talk to an understanding friend. Don't get talking to someone who's hurting you, troubling you, or who's negating or rejecting what you say. Or don't think like this, you're always useless, you don't seem to be understanding. Then you have to try avoid this kind of friends or talking to this kind of people, because then it's not going to help you, because you're already down and out. And now if you're talking to someone who negates you, it's going to be painful, more painful. So if you have an empathetic, understanding friend whom you are not pushing too much, because that friend also might get fed up. So you got to be careful about that. So, but a counselor and a therapist, a trained, qualified counselor and a therapist, is a great thing to go for. Counselors, because they have been trained to listen, to understand what you're going through, to look for what is right. Yeah. Now remember, psychiatrists also, but psychiatrists gives medicines. Yeah, they are more about just diagnosing like any other doctor and giving you medicines, and the medicines remain the same. Okay, so I would always suggest a counselor and therapist. Of course, you got to also diagnose it, have the psychiatrist in loop, and if you have to meet a physician, you got to meet up a physician. You have to do diagnosis by doing tests. You got to do all that. Yeah, I'm not negating all that. So don't just get blindfolded and get into anything. Yeah, write it out. One of the things is journal. Whenever you have this, you write it so that you know your thoughts. This is one exercise which I tell all my clients to do, to keep a book with themselves and write down all that. And doesn't matter what area, what issue they come with. I generally ask them to write it so that they pour out everything. So when you clear up your stuff, then you are able to take in new stuff and a positive stuff. You can change it. But if you are keeping the old and putting in new on that, then it is becoming, um, it's like dirt over dirt. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. Yeah, but you clean up your garbage bin completely and then put in something new, put in in flowers in there, and then you can use it. But if you're having garbage, you are not able to use it for fresh flowers. It's pointless. Follow the three rule. So someone was asking, what do we do? I want you all to do this exercise right now. How do we follow the 3-3-3 rule? Okay, so right now I want you to do this. Okay, all of you, I want you to do this. So just see three things. So just I'm going to give you a glimpse of it. You can keep practicing later. Yeah. So just look around in your house, wherever you are in a place, and look for three things. Appreciate, acknowledge three things. Like I'm acknowledging that there's this green board and I have my flute in front of me and that there is a Buddha. So look at three things, see three things. Yeah. When you have done it, you have to just give a thumbs up. See three things, then hear three things. Just be there and just hear three things. Like I can hear the fan and I can hear kids playing and I can also hear there is a vehicle moving or some honking happening. Oh, crows are crowing. Oh, I heard 3 things. Okay. Third is you are move 3 things. 3. See, here, move. Move one arm, shoulder, move your neck, move your back, or 3 things. Move your leg, move your ankle, move your arm, or move your leg, move your shoulder, move your neck. Yeah. So any 3 things. Okay. Are we together? So did you get this, all of you? If you got it, yeah. So 3 things. Remember, it's very easy. 3 things. 3, see, hear, move. See, hear, move. Okay. So just see around 3 things again quickly. Any 3 things you can appreciate. Yeah, Niharika, very good. I'm seeing Niharika. 1. Then I can see the board. I can see a red torch. Okay, I can see my clock. 3 things. 3 things. And then 3 things to hear. I can hear the fan. You can keep changing. Now you can build up. There are times when you can just go around and you are listening to soft sounds also. Third, you move. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Does this help to break the cycle of anxiety, bringing the thought to the present? Yes. This is a very good mindful exercise, Rahul. Very good mindful exercise. So most of my exercises, most of my work is based on mindfulness and awareness. Okay, one thing that I haven't told you, I'm a Tai Chi teacher. I have been practicing Tai Chi for the last 20 years. So that is where I have picked up all my mindfulness exercises from. So I have practiced meditations, Tai Chi for the last 20 years. I'm into some amount of martial arts, playing some music. So all I do is basically how do I keep coming into the present? And this is something that is required in order to heal. Are we together? In order to heal, you got to keep coming back to the present. So when you're doing these exercises, I will take the questions in the end, Prashant. I can see your hand for last 20 minutes. I'm going to take your questions. Yeah, let me complete because we'll not be able to complete it. Please. Yeah, I'll definitely, I'm having you on my mind. Because I'm someone who keeps getting distracted easily. So it's easy to distract me and it will not work for anyone. Okay, are we together, all of us? Yeah. Okay, great. So the rule of 3. So this is something, if you have a book, write it down. Follow the 333 rule. 333 rule. 333 rule. Remember. Okay. And one more exercise I'm going to show you now. This. Yeah. So this is witness sensing. Witness sensing, it's a small part of the core somatic integration. Yeah. And in which I teach people how to heal themselves.
In case of a specific category, namely because of the security of the country.
ADI, witness sensing is nothing else but you witness what you're sensing. And I have treated diseases like cold, cancers, migraines, paralysis, and paresis, and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah. And I use this technology. It's a 6-step thing which I'm going to teach, and there's a workshop that is happening on this Saturday and Sunday from 3 to 8 p.m. People who are interested, they can always join in. They can inquire about it, and I'm going to talk about it towards the end. And rest is like you should be joining that because it's a very powerful workshop. If there's someone who's done it, he will also talk about it. Let's see who wants to talk about it. So first is acknowledge, discharge, and integrate. Yeah. Let's quickly go through this. How many of you want to actually go through it? How many of you actually want to go through this small exercise? Okay, some of them, yes, many of them. Now, this is something which is a step-by-step process because it's taken over 10 hours. Yeah, earlier I used to teach over 16 hours, but in the lockdown, we found that we can do it in 10, 12 hours. So I teach them over 10, 12 hours, but I'm just going to give you a glimpse of it, which is a short, small part of it. So this is called witness sensing, which is a big part of core somatic integration workshop. Yeah. Now, remember, what we are doing is we are acknowledging. Second, we are discharging. Third, we are integrating. Remember, if you want to heal any disease, anything, even if it's a relationship is some area of my expertise. I have almost every day, I have at least one person coming with a relationship problem, marital relationships especially, and also stepping into divorces and all that. And I have been fortunate enough to support them and help them, and not only get back, but also to harmonize the relationship. Because it's not about just getting back, but it's also harmonizing the relationship. And a lot of people come in and they have been able to clear up those problems. And most of the relationship problems, I have spoken on relationships earlier also. I will have a session on that. If at all you're interested, you can always write to me. Yep. And relationship is something that we got to look into. So now what you're going to do is that just close your eyes. We are not doing it with anxiety, because if I bring up anxiety, I will not be able to touch it again, because I don't know. We are at a distance and we are not doing one-to-one. So you can just observe what is happening in your body. So you can just pay attention to your breathing. No fast breathing, no hard breathing, just observing what's happening to your breathing. No fast breathing, no hard breathing, just observing what's happening to your breathing. Just notice, where is it feeling cold in your nostrils? And just feel that you're breathing in from your head to your toe. As you breathe in, you're breathing in from your head to your toe. And as you're breathing out, as you're breathing out, breathe out from your toes to your head and breathe out through your nostrils. Feel all of the stress and tension is going out through your nostrils. And now, as you breathe in, just observe the body sensations. Whatever, good or bad, just observe the body sensations. Just notice as you breathe in and breathe out, what kind of body sensations? Is it twisting, tightness, pleasant, unpleasant, painful, some energy moving, some tingling? This is called acknowledging. Whatever is there, you acknowledge the ADI, the A part of it. Now we are not getting into anxiety, so I cannot do much, but just feel as if you're releasing all that to some body parts like your hands and feet, as if like how water gets drained out of your body. Like you have shower of water coming on you and it's going down, and then if you have your hands held out, how it tingles and leaves your hands. So just feel that it is discharging. Just feel that as you breathe out, it is all discharging through your hands and your feet. This is called discharging. You have acknowledged all the sensations, whatever pleasant or unpleasant, and now you are discharging them. And now when you have discharged them, notice the calmness or the peace feeling wherever you get it. I'm still saying it's very early, quick, but still let's get the best out of it so that you learn it and you can practice it on your own. And if anyone needs any help, you can always give me a call. I will explain it to you again. Not a problem. So just observe it. And wherever you feel calmness, feel it spreading throughout your body, in your head, anywhere in the body. Just let it spread into your rest of the body, into your head, into your heart, into your abdomen, in your spine, in your legs up to your toes. Take your time, let it integrate. This is a very, very important process where you have to give enough time for it to integrate. So you are doing the acknowledgement, A, the discharging, D, and the integration, I, ADI of witness sensing, of course, somatic integration. Okay. Gently move your body, move your hands, move your legs, and then slowly open your eyes. This is quite a gentle process. Remember, it's supposed to be a very, very gentle process, slow process. You have to give yourself enough time when you're doing these processes. Don't be in a hurry. Okay? Great. So now let me just share and see. Okay, if anyone is having a question. So we have done at least two things over here. One is we have talked about the three things. Yeah, avoid sugar. I would say take good sleep also. Yeah, that is very, very important. Drink enough water. Drink enough water, take good sleep, avoid sugar, avoid coffee. I don't say that don't take coffee at all, but avoid too much of sugar. You can get onto jaggery, it is helpful. Good jaggery thing. And also get in touch with some counselor, some therapist who is trained if you are suffering from anxiety. Okay. And follow the 3-3-3 rule. See three, hear three, okay, and move three. And then the ADI, the witnessing principles or the rules, steps, acknowledgement, discharging, integrating. Acknowledgement, discharging, integrating. Okay, great, friends. I will also share about, if you are interested in joining the workshop, I'll be sharing about that. Yeah, if anyone's interested, you can tell me yes. Yeah, there's no force. At the same time, I'm going to put two videos. Wait, let me put the two videos so that, yeah, you can always copy down the link. Let me go through it. If anyone's interested in watching the videos, I think nahi aayega, aisa nahi aayega. Okay, let's do this. Okay, just a minute. I'll just get the video so that I'll put it now so that you're not going to miss. Okay, and before that, I'm going to show you one small clip of this. This is something that we got to learn, and this is the basic thing that I work upon. The body heals itself. The body heals itself. What we need to learn is how to communicate with the body to heal itself. And that is what I teach. how to communicate to the body too, because we have lost the ability to talk to the body to heal itself. We need extra things, outside things, medicines, and all that to heal itself. But the body is capable. Whenever you got injured, even if you didn't do anything, you got bruised and all since childhood, you didn't do anything, 7 days later, you are still healed. This is the workshop I'm talking about. Learn in 2 days the 6 steps on how to have freedom from diseases without any harmful effects of medicines. Learn in 30 minutes step to transform disease into natural health. In 3 hours, the one simple methodology to have freedom from diseases without medicines with no side effects, and to accelerate cures by 50% or more. Cures of psychological issues, major diseases, relationship breakdowns by 50% and more, and have effective results in the shortest time possible. Develop personal mastery using self-awareness. Hundreds of counselors, therapists, doctors, and not only that, lot of laymen, housewives, lot of them have done my workshops. Yeah. Okay, and if you're interested to know about the price and all, I can tell you the price. Yeah. Okay, great. So if at all you have questions, please let me know. Core somatic integration. I am putting in the link of the YouTube. You can just copy it. Great, my friends. People had questions. Please ask. You can open up your mics and ask me questions, or you can put it on the chat. I'll answer the question. Is there anyone who would like to share about their experience? How do we rewire the mind? Rajika, rewiring, we start off with this, whatever I showed you. So in rewiring the minds, there are 2 things to remember. One thing, something to be done and something to be avoided. Like I told you, sleep is to be taken, you avoid sugar. So like that, there are a lot of things. So you got to know yourself, writing down, journaling, knowing your thoughts, knowing your feelings, creative visualization, which I teach, that is there. And there are various other things that you got to do in order to know yourself. Yeah, and also get in touch with people, get in touch with counselors, therapists, or I also teach various modalities of psychology. Like I teach transactional analysis, which is actually getting into understanding what kind of person you are. And then creative visualization. A lot of things can be done to rewire the mind. It's not just one uh, thing. It's like the thoughts, feelings, emotions, behaviors, all has to be managed. And of course, your body. Yeah, Prashant. Hope Rajika, I've been able to answer your question. Prashant, please go ahead, open your mic, and you can also show me how you look.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, Prashant. Quick. Tell us about core somatic workshop, Krishna. I'll tell you. Okay, Prashant, I can't hear you. I think I'll take the next question. Lolita. How to remove fire of anything, fear of anything permanently, like fear of desks. Desk. I didn't get it. Desk. Okay. By the way, fear is not bad. Whoever's written it, I can't see the name now. AV. AV, fear is not a bad thing. Fear is like your hands and legs. They are necessary. So don't make fear and anxiety bad. Yeah. Fear is a normal response. Anxiety is a normal response. But fear is when there is a threat happening, like a dog is looking at you and you feel it's going to bite. Or you have someone with a knife, or you feel something is going to go wrong. That is the time you have fear. When it's over, your fear is gone. Anxiety is also like that. You feel anxious about doing something, like you are anticipating something and you get anxious. But if it's going beyond a particular limit, then it becomes abnormal. Okay. How can we remove shivering? Start doing these exercises which I shown you, Prashant. Yeah, but if you are someone who's very anxious because you had your hand up at least 3 or 4 times in this whole thing, so if you are suffering from anxiety, I would suggest, Prashant, that you better meet someone, because I don't know you, but if you are saying that how to remove shivering and heartbeat normal, how to bring heartbeat to normalcy, okay. Then if it is shivering, then there is a deep old memory out there, Prashant. How would one sustain motivation when impacted substantially by anxiety? MK, one of the things that we got to know, is it amygdala based anxiety, like it's a disorder, or it's a cortical based, it's overthinking? If it is any which way, you need to take help, yeah, if at all, because take support, one of the things, yeah. And then you got to, whatever the therapist says, you got to practice for some time. That's why I gave you these two breathing techniques, which I've given. I had given it to that person who I spoke about, that who was having severe anxiety. Okay. By the way, friends, you want to know one secret? I was suffering of anxiety for more than 12 years. Severe anxiety, panic attacks, irritable bowel syndrome. And for me, it doesn't even occur now. So I am talking on this with a lot of positive experience. And people who know me, my clients, they say, how can you think so positively? So that is the kind of person you're talking to. Yeah. So most of the times remaining anxious, hyperventilating, getting depression for 10, 12 years. And now I can say it with pride because I've gotten over it. Yeah. And so MK, that is what I would say, that, okay. Uh, okay. Doctors says me that it is physiological. Of course, physiological is the water that is why it's a shivering. That's why I said, see, saying it is physiological doesn't work. You got to heal it. And core somatic works on that fear, which is physiological, which is body based. Physiological is nothing else but body based. And when people say, or any doctor says it is physiological, doesn't mean there's a problem. That means you can heal it. But most of the doctors I've seen, they say, okay, don't take tension. Tension se aapko problem ho jayega. I don't understand. How do you not take tension? No one tells you that. No one tells you that. And even the doctor who's telling you, he's also tense someday or the other. So how can you say that don't take tension? How do you heal the tension? That ability, how do you raise the ability to manage the tension? That is more important. And that is what I teach. How can we slow down the anxiety at the very particular moment when we are in the middle of the speech or giving an exam? Payal, remember one thing. For everything, like the exams, you got to practice beforehand. If you are practiced it beforehand and good amount of time, then during that period of middle of speech or giving your exams, you can utilize it. You cannot just learn it during your exam. You don't study during your exams when you're giving your exams. You start studies 2-3 months in advance. Okay, I hope that answers your question. The anxiety would make the experience so negative you don't feel like taking over the task. Of course, that is where I am asking you, MK, that you got to take support then. That is what I can understand. Rearrangement of wires can be done anytime in life. Any time. I have had 70-year-olds coming and getting it done. Okay. I have checked, all my reports are normal. By the way, Prashant, anxiety will not show up on reports. If you have done reports, you have wasted your money. That's why I said they are doing things for diagnosing. They don't do anything for healing. Cost of the course, I'm just going to tell you, Shulku, it's like giving up. Of course, you need support, Prashant. When you just raised up your hand 3 times, I knew that you needed help. Yeah. Because that is really a sign of anxiety. Okay. So friends, I'm just going to talk to you about people who are interested should see this and join it. That is my suggestion. Yeah, I'm going to show you the cost of the workshop. So this is called core somatic integration. It's a body-centered, body-oriented integrative therapy. Yeah, which is one of the fastest and the most quickest therapy I have seen. Yeah. And it works wonderfully well. Like there are people who have been able to manage themselves even in one session. The dates are Saturday and sorry, not Friday to Sunday. It is Saturday and Sunday, 27th and 28th from 3 to 8 p.m. I have not put it. Yeah. And 3 to 8 p.m. the fees of the workshop is actually 12,000 if you're doing a spot registration. Early bird response discount is rupees 6,000, 50% discount if you're paying by tomorrow. Yeah, you can pay it right now also. My GPay is there, and on 27th Feb, that is day after, it will be rupees 8,000. It will be rupees 8,000. In fact, this was last week, and I was supposed to increase it after 2 days, but I realized that the people who have come in have not been with me or have not told them of the discount. That's why I kept it at 6,000. Yeah, otherwise it is at 8,000 by now. And the GPay is my number 9820800120 9820800120. Okay, 9820 800 120 9820 800 120. So you can GPay me or I can send you the bank details. Okay, friends, and what is that? That is my mobile number. Okay, so this is 27th and 28th, that is Saturday and Sunday, from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 8 o'clock in the evening. And you're going to learn what I said this. You're going to learn this. How do you transform things in 30 minutes? And that is what is very, very important. Okay. Thank you, friends. So anyone who's interested to ask question, how to diagnose, we have anxiety disorder. You don't need to diagnose, you just need to go to a doctor. He will diagnose it for you. But the symptoms are there, like if you are getting hyperventilation, you are having a lot of negative thoughts and you find that you are finding it difficult to breathe, or you have high palpitation, you have palpitations, pulse rate is running up, the sweating and you're getting shivers and all that, then definitely you must be a candidate for anxiety. You should go and check with the doctor. Thank you, Chami. Helpful. Chami, would you like to, you have done the course Somatic, right? Charmi,
Yes, sir.
would you like to share something about it?
Okay. Well, I have undergone the Somatic integration workshop, and while doing that as well, I've discovered my issues, and then during the sessions, sir helped us, and the whole group actually helped me out to sort the problem. So it really helped me out in a way that I'm able to speak without any cough, and I can really feel that freedom of speech. So that's how it helped me, and thanks to Rajesh sir.
Thank you, dear. Thanks a lot, Chami. Thanks a lot. Anyone else who's there? Okay, any other questions? Anxiety after waking up because of a bad dream. What about that?
Doc, any chance of the workshop being repeated again? Because this weekend I may not be able to join. I'm not so sure.
Krishna, you send me a message. I'll keep it on record. You on number saved?
Broadcast list. ठीक है.
Yeah, so that because, yeah, but then it's happening now. Whenever it happens, I'll let you know. Otherwise, this is the best time.
ठीक है. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah. So you have my number. I'll put my number over here.
Doc, it's on the WhatsApp group, no?
Yeah. Same number. Just post it on the WhatsApp group. That's my number, 9820800120. So anyone who's wanting to ask any questions, please ask. Niharika, you want to ask questions? Bye.
So is it like a 2-day workshop will help us get rid of our anxiety?
See, there are people, they are not there over here, but they have said that we have been suffering from severe backaches for last 5 years, and in the workshop it has vanished. There are people who have said that we had a severe amount of negative thoughts or feeling very low, but after that, so I can't say whether it's going to help you or how it's, whether it's going to delete for everyone. But most of the people who have come in, because I work with certain people in the group, in the workshop, and they have said that they have been able to crack that code. Why I say that I cannot promise you, because I don't know you, but it works and each person is different.
True.
Yeah, so that is why, but it works wonderfully well. That is what is my, I can say.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else has a question? Thank you, Nita, Sunaina. Okay, friends. So if you are interested, just post me a message or put it on the group, the Beat the Depression, that you want to join in. Yeah. I have another workshop right now. If you're interested, get it on the group. I will send you the link. Yeah, after 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 9:30, I'm going to talk on core somatic integration. If anyone's interested, I'm going to send in the. Okay. I just got the Zoom link. Okay, friends, we are 10 minutes past. So shall we call it a day, Gauri? Okay, Krishna, I will send it on the group, dear. Okay, Krishna? Monica, bye. Prashant, bye. Prashant, you can just give me a call. Prashant Kanojia. Give me a call as and when we'll talk. Yeah, because I think you need it.
Yes, sir. Yes. Definitely, definitely, sir.
Yeah, don't feel embarrassed. Baat karo. You don't need to come to me, but I think you need help here. Don't do that.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I really need a help, sir.
Yeah, go on, correct. Hey, Monica, you don't show your face. Thanks, super session. Thank you. Okay, bye, dear Rika. Bye, Prachi. Bye, Don Osco, Kyati, Lolita, Neha, iPad.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc, so much. It was awesome. Always hearing you. It's
Thank
super.
you, sir.
Hey, thank you, Kyati. Thank you, Kavita. Thank you,
Thank
Monica.
you, sir.
To hear your voice. Dr. Nilima.
Thanks, Doc. It is just the best time just to hear you. Sari dukh dur ho jati hai.
Thank you, dear. Thanks a lot, dear.
Yeah,
Deepali,
sir.
Dhawan.
Yes, sir.
Sir, when is next session?
Next session is at 8 o'clock on the group. I'll put the link.
8 o'clock sessions link, sir.
No, I'll put it on the group.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. What's your name?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
What's your name? iPad.
Dr. Rainey. Dr. Rainey.
Okay, Dr. Reni.
I changed my device, that device. That's right.
Okay, I got it. Carol.
Doctor, excuse me, I'm Carol.
Yeah.
The thing is, I joined the session late and I'm not on your WhatsApp group. So could I get the link on my email or should I join the WhatsApp group?
Join the WhatsApp group. I say I can put it right now. I can put it there.
So it's to join the WhatsApp group. It's on your mobile number.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Come on my mobile number. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Thank
Swapna
you.
Nair, please send me a WhatsApp on this. Whoever wants it, just send me a WhatsApp on this. I will send it on this number. Because I will not be able to transfer it on my laptop and then put it. That will take some time, huh, Swapna? So anyone who wants it, please WhatsApp me. I'll send it to you.
Thank you. I could only join in at 7. So could I send you a WhatsApp message now?
Yeah. Please.
Thank you.
And if you want someone else to join, you can always send it to them also.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, Nita.
Bye.
Bye, Deepti. Bye, Dhaval. Bye, Prachi. Varsha, Mercy is still connecting. Okay, friends. Bye. I'll go. See you.